Everyone, welcome back to a new video. So while we're on the subject of being here for 2 years, we thought we'd catch up with our two kids, or teenagers now. So we've asked them a few questions on how they've kind of found it since they came here, what's it like living here, their new regrets, and stuff like that. So stay tuned and we'll go through their questions.
So we know a lot of you are not yet here but want to come here and also have families like ours with teenagers and maybe worrying about what that means for them. Maybe they're also worrying about what that means for them. So hopefully these might help you to be able to answer some of their questions or put yours and their minds at ease. So the first question we asked were around moving to Australia, and we asked them how they felt when we first told them that we were moving to Australia. Bearing in mind, before we moved, they were 13 and 17, and it took us a good 8 months to get over here. So at that time, they were probably about 12 and 16. So the oldest didn't want to move, and neither did the youngest. And we asked them what was their first reactions, and the eldest said that she didn't believe it. The youngest said that she felt angry. And then on a scale of 1 to 10, we wanted to know how excited they were, really. We do remember on our recce trip that they had both planned to
sabotage
it so that it would make everybody not want to go. But we did hear from them later on that they actually got into it and really enjoyed it and, scuppered that plan.
Yeah, they kind of planned to be miserable the whole trip, but obviously, what's there to be miserable about?
On a scale of 1 to 10, when they initially found out, they both said it was a 0 for them.
Yeah, there's only minus scale.
So no surprises there. It's very, very hard to move as an adult, let alone a kid, and leaving all your friends and family behind and change and all of those things.
It's definitely tougher leaving friends behind, I think, when you're younger anyway. Do you know what I mean?
So then we asked them about sort of before we left the UK and what were the things that they were worried about most about leaving the UK. The eldest said leaving friends and family, and the youngest said leaving grandparents. What did you think Australia would be like before we arrived? The eldest said that she thought it would be full of spiders and like the desert. And the youngest said that she thought it would be too hot for her and also was worried about spiders.
Seems to be quite common, and there's a lot of misconception about you think there's going to be spiders everywhere, snakes, but actually, touch wood, not seen any snakes myself.
No snakes. The spiders some of them are bigger.
Yeah, they are a little bit bigger.
But there's definitely lots of things to help you remove them.
Assist you in removing.
If you're a killer, to kill them. So I am absolutely petrified of spiders, and
you don't like small ones, do you? Let alone these.
No, I don't even like little babies.
Let alone these big huntsmen.
Next question was, what were you most upset about leaving behind? And eldest said friends and family, and the youngest said leaving family behind. Was there anything you thought might be better here? And eldest said the weather, and that was the same answer for the youngest.
Yeah, I think that's pretty easy.
Yeah. So then we moved on to questions about their sort of first few months in Australia, and we asked what was the biggest shock when they arrived. Sorry, it's so windy.
Yeah, it's very windy today down by the beach. We thought we'd mix the scenery up for you.
So what was the biggest shock when we arrived? And the eldest said how beautiful it was, and the youngest said that she was shocked that it was kind of the same as UK and that everyone spoke English. So I'm not sure what language she thought was spoken here, but that put her mind at ease. And then what was harder than you expected? So the eldest said making friends, and that was what the youngest said, as well as school being harder. And then what was easier than you expected? The eldest said adjusting to living here, and that was the same answer for the youngest.
Yeah, I think it's probably a little bit easier when you start making friends, I would imagine.
Yeah.
It makes it a bit easier for you. Yeah, obviously I think it's harder, obviously, for kids to make new friends, because I think one of them said that in the UK they're a bit more kind of judgy.
Next question, how did school feel at the start? eldest said didn't go to school but wish I did for the experience. We'll talk a little bit more about that in a while. And the youngest said that she didn't like it at the beginning. The next question was, did you feel like you fitted in straight away? The eldest said, kind of, but your accent makes you stick out. But there's so many English people here, isn't there?
Yeah, you do bump into a lot of English. It's kind of weird, but...
The youngest said she didn't feel like she fitted in immediately. And then moving on to school and friends. So what's the biggest difference between school here and the UK? So maybe just to tell you a little bit, if you haven't watched all of our videos or if we didn't really clarify it properly, when our eldest moved here, she was 17. So she'd finished all of her education back in the UK and she was still young enough to go to school here, but and I can't remember what the name of it is right now, but there's a qualification that all Australians do here.
It's an ATAR, isn't it? An ATAR school.
Yeah, it's connected to going to university. So that was the deal. We could get her into school, but she would have to go back 2 years to do this 2-year qualification. So she would have to be in school with 15-year-olds at age 17. Obviously not something that she was keen to do. So we looked into, well, what about if we paid for it privately, sent her to a college to do it, but that was going to be exactly the same situation. There was no way that she, as a 17-year-old, could go into a college or school or anything to do that qualification with people her own age. So we ummed and ahed and obviously let her make her own decision about that. And she ultimately decided she didn't want to do that. So she actually found work very quickly and easily, and she's still got that job now, as well as a few other jobs as well. So yeah, that was for her what was going to be her plan. We didn't know for how long or anything like that, but you know, she wanted to work, earn money, and that's what she did. Moving forwards, I think she may still go to university at some point, perhaps when we've got PR, because to go to university now on a temporary visa, I don't think you're eligible.
No, you
for
don't get a lot of funding and help and stuff.
So anyway, it all did work out for her in the end. It wasn't the ideal, it wasn't what we had planned, but it was okay.
We didn't really know. Yeah, I guess you're apprehensive because you don't know what's going to happen, but yeah, I mean, it does work out. There are avenues you can go down to, so you know, don't panic, guys.
Yeah. So what's the biggest difference between school here and the UK? Eldest says, I didn't go, but all the different celebrations and activities here are cooler. So obviously she has a group of friends that are younger than her, older than her, and she has friends that are still in school or have been in school. So she gets to hear and see about all of that. Then the youngest said, as you said earlier, that kids are less kind of judgy.
Obviously, you still get a few, but they're not as bad, I think, as the UK. So
yeah,
she was a bit worried about that. Obviously, experience in school in the UK. She thought it'd be the same here, but turns out not as bad.
Yeah. No mean girls here. Then was making friends easy or awkward? So the eldest plays a lot of football/soccer. So that was a great way for her to make friends and meet new people. And she says that through football, she made new friends. It was awkward at first, then easy. And the youngest said it was awkward and different to making friends in England.
Yeah, I mean, if you watch one of our videos, we've kind of said like how to make friends over here, and one of our top tips was kind of like join a club. So if your kids are sporty or creative, you know, get them into clubs and get them socialising, because it's one of the quickest way to make friends over here.
Did your accent ever make you feel different? Eldest says, sometimes when my friends don't understand words I say and vice versa. The youngest says yes, and she gets called a pommy a lot.
I think that's quite a common term. I get called that quite a lot of work as well, with a few expletives on the end or before.
Do you feel more confident at school now? The eldest says doesn't go to school, and the youngest says yes. And then, is there anything about UK schools you still prefer? The eldest says no, and the youngest says the UK food.
I think she still misses her Greggs.
Yeah, yeah, and Tesco meal deals apparently.
Yeah, Tesco meal deals is something they both commented on that they missed.
So, about day-to-day life in Australia, what do you like most about living in Australia? Eldest says the weather, lifestyle, and friends, and the youngest says the beach and her boyfriend. The next question is, what do you miss most about the UK? Eldest says family, friends, and Tesco meal deals, and the youngest says grandparents and some UK food, i.e. Greggs. And then, do you feel more independent here? And the answer to that from the eldest is yes. The youngest says she could walk to more places in the UK. Here is bigger.
Yeah, so obviously Australia is bigger, as things are more spread out, there's more land here. But where we used to live in the smallest town, so things were kind of walkable. But here it's very hot most of the time, so you don't really fancy walking. So yeah, I think that's kind of what she's saying.
Yeah. Although she did just get a new electric scooter for Christmas, so hopefully that will help.
Yeah, she'll clock up the K's on that, I suppose.
Okay, so the next question is, what's still hard even now? And the eldest says not getting to see family and friends whenever I want. And the youngest says being away from grandparents. So there's a definite common theme here.
Yeah, it is hard. Like, obviously we used to live probably 20 minutes away from my mum and dad. Now obviously it's 24 hours on a plane.
Next question, do you ever feel homesick? Eldest says sometimes, youngest says sometimes. Is there anything adults don't realise is hard for kids? Eldest says making new friends without going to school. And the youngest says no. Do you ever feel stuck between the UK and Australia? And the eldest says no, I'd choose Australia any day. And the youngest says no. So definite change from obviously when they were first told that they were coming here to now.
Yeah.
So it's always good. And then moving on, talking about kind of growth and change. So do you think moving here has changed you as a person? And they both say yes. The youngest says that she doesn't feel that she's so chavvy anymore. So I'm not sure if Aussies know what a chav is, but English are well renowned for being chavs. I'm sure that there's something on the internet if you want to look up what a chav is.
Just Google it.
But yeah, definitely I would say just for girls or young girls in general, not so much pressure to wear so much makeup or so much grown-up clothes.
I know the schools are pretty hot on it here as well, and they're not. They're pretty strict on the eyelashes and the makeup
jewelry.
and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
it kind of forces them to not be that way, but then they don't really need to, I think.
Yeah, and of course, Australia this year, they banned social media for any kids under 16, and the schools already, I think most of them or all of them, enforce no mobile phones. I think it might be even the law now, no mobile phones in school time.
Been away for the day, they call it.
Yeah, which I think helps as well. So, next question, do you feel more confident now than before we moved? Answer to that from both is yes. Have you learned anything about yourself since moving? Eldest says I'm more confident than I thought, and the youngest says more confident, and she has her first job, which also helps with her confidence.
Like we said in previous videos, compared to how youngest was when we were living in England, she used to not handle other kids very well when she was little.
Yeah.
So now, working,
serving customers,
having to speak to adults, dealing with
complaints,
complaints and stuff like that. So yeah, it's so good to see them both flourish over here. Amazing.
Yeah, we were proud of them anyway, but even more prouder with how they've dealt with everything and how they're growing, and yeah, they're amazing. So, last question around growth and change. Is there anything you can do here that you couldn't do in the UK? And eldest says, drive, go clubbing, tan whenever I'm not working with sun cream.
Yeah, sun cream all the time. Slip, slop, slap.
Yeah. And hat and glasses, and the youngest says go to the beach easier.
Obviously it depends where you live, but we're quite lucky we've got beaches that are 5 minutes away from us.
Yeah.
It'd be a bit different if you were inland, but I'm sure there's places you can go and see.
So, a few more questions left before we get to the end of the video. So, if you're still with us, thanks for watching and listening.
Yeah, we kind of want to cover everything really that your kids might have questions for.
Yeah, we hope this is helpful. Next question was there a moment when Australia started to feel like home? I feel like we should do a version of this for us.
Stay tuned for that one.
So the elder says, when I started to make more friends and had more things of mine in my room, I think might have...
Well, yeah, you do have to start again. So
Yeah.
that's probably, when you buy things that you like. And obviously where we're renting is difficult because, you can put things up, but then you have to make them right.
Yeah.
So it still doesn't quite feel like home, but yeah, it's nice to have things that you buy that you like.
Yeah, exactly. And probably helped a bit when things came from England on the Move Cube, pictures, photos, all of that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So the youngest said yes when we moved to a bigger home.
Yeah, because obviously the first house was quite small. We weren't really staying there. We knew we had to get out in lots of months.
Yeah, I guess so. It wasn't really they couldn't really make their bedrooms their own.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But now we've been there, a year and a half in a new place.
When did things begin to get easier? So eldest says when I had a routine, work, football, friends, really important. And the youngest says when you have good friends. And what helped the most, school friends or time? And the eldest said probably friends and time. The youngest said friends. And then if we asked you this a year ago, would your answer be different? So the eldest said probably a little. The youngest said yes.
In depth, it's quite hard to get questions out of a younger teenager.
Would you choose to move again if you had the choice? And the eldest said yes, and the youngest said yes. So just to clarify, because they don't want to move again somewhere to another country or back to England. But if they were asked again, would they like to move from UK to Australia? The answer is definitely
Obviously,
yes.
knowing what they know now, knowing what it'd be like.
Do you see your future in Australia or the UK? They both say Australia.
Which is good.
Very happy about that. What would you say to another teenager who doesn't want to move?
Important one here. Listen up.
Definitely. Eldest says, do it. Join a sports club or a school and you'll make friends. And the youngest says, give it a try, go to school and clubs. The next question is, what advice would you give parents thinking of moving with teens? And the eldest said, take them to see what it's like first. And the youngest said, take them on a holiday first. So I think that's really important. If you can, come on a recce trip, make sure, it's such a big thing. You need to all be sure that you like it.
Well, yeah, we'd never been to Australia before, ever. I mean,
Yeah.
luckily we had the opportunity to have a recce trip and see the area and go around the schools and stuff like that, which always helps.
Yeah, and we only came for 2 weeks, which is still not
That's
really long
nothing, is
enough
it?
to make a life-changing decision like that.
Yeah.
But still, I just don't think we could have made that decision without coming here, because it's just such a lot to gamble. And yeah.
I mean, maybe if you're a single person on your own, maybe you could just throw yourself in. But yeah, you've got to kind of think of your kids and how they're going to adjust, because obviously it's harder for kids, I'd say, to adjust. And
Yeah.
adults, you kind of get on with it, I guess, when you're
Yeah.
a bit older. But yeah, I would recommend doing the recce trip.
Yeah, for sure. And then last question, what do you wish we'd understood more at the start as parents? And the eldest said, nothing, you were fine. So always good to know. And the youngest said, parents need to be more understanding.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, we knew it was going to be tough on them, leaving family and friends and just pulling them the other side of the world. It was going to be hard, but, it was kind of an opportunity we didn't really want to give up.
Yeah. And, you always have these discussions with your kids about various different topics, because you have the experience and you're wiser and older, and there's always things that they'll want to do or not want to do that you think that they should or shouldn't. And it's your job as a parent to just make sure that you're making the right decision for them, but also consulting with them so that they feel part of that decision making. And I think the most important thing for us was we were very much, we'll give this a try,
Yeah.
we'll see how it goes. If it's really awful, then we don't have to stay. And luckily for us, everybody was happy and
Yeah.
it's all worked out. But I guess there has to be that sort of promise that if it's not working out, you'll
Yeah,
definitely.
you can go back if you
Yeah.
need to. I mean, there's a few people on YouTube that have gone back, hasn't worked out for them, but then, you know, you just gotta stick with it.
Yeah, yeah, but you see so many of them, they call them ping pong poms, that come out here, go back to UK, and then want to come back out here. I mean, that's not us. We definitely don't want to go back to the
No.
UK. We're all very clear on that. But, you know, I do get that it's harder for some people. And yeah, without a doubt, you know, missing family and friends is the hardest thing, but you have to weigh up what you're sacrificing and what you're benefiting from here, and we all have a much better life here.
Oh,
So
yeah, I would say we're a lot happier here. There's a lot more opportunity here.
yeah, and you can always go back and visit. So yeah, I think definitely that would just be my last bit of advice, is just talk to your kids, you know, try to help them to understand and what's going to be better for them and what's going to be different, and just be honest with them and talk to each other. And I think the biggest thing for us was doing it as a family, and we're a team. And
Don't make it feel like it's a punishment, like you're taking them away and that's it, you'll never see your friends again. You know, luckily you got technology these days, you can FaceTime and stuff like that, so, you know, that would help.
yeah. So anyway, I hope this video helped. Good luck to you if you're thinking about moving out here. We definitely say go for it. It's the best thing we ever did. It's changed our lives completely, and we're really happy here. And if you have any questions, drop them in the comments below. We have an Instagram as well, so message us on there if they're a bit more in depth or you don't want to put them on the public forum. But we're always happy to help, and thanks to our kids for contributing to this video. Couldn't have done it without them, and once again, we're so proud of you and always will be. So guys, if you're still with us, it's been a really long video. Thank you so much for watching right to the end. Thank you for watching our videos, subscribing, liking, sharing, commenting. We read all of your messages, even the horrible ones.
Yeah, there's still some of those, but hey ho.
Luckily are few and far between, but we really appreciate your support, and
See you in the next one.